Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dina Agustina. My student number is 19, 30, 20, 50, and 67. So in this video, I would like to talk about first material in TLE class, Teaching and Learning Evaluation. So the first material, I would like to describe several language tests. So there are several terms that I'm going to introduce you. Okay, the first terms is about objective versus subjective. So these two different kinds of terms are different in terms of this format. That's for skill to be tested. So objective and subjective belongs to different kinds of tests. So actually there are two different kinds of objective tests and subjective tests. And the measure of difference, the score difference between these two kinds of tests is about the format, the score, and the skill to be tested. Related to the test format, objective tests usually in the form of multiple choice or yes no question or true false or medical test. And if it is objective test, the test is usually in the form of essay. And how about the test score? Okay, the criteria of objective tests in the terms of the scoring criteria. If we talk about objective tests, if one correct answer will get 1 point. So if the first item you answer correctly, so you get 1 for the first item. And if you answer incorrectly, you can see it. Okay, and about subjective test. Yeah, because subjective test is different subjective, so the scoring way to score the subjective test is based on the rubric. Rubric is kind of standard. This is kind of standard which consists of some criteria to test criteria to score the subjective test. Why do we have to need such kind of criteria, such kind of guideline? Yeah, because there is no correct answer in subjective. And then the last is skill to be tested. For objective tests, the skill that usually been tested is the skill of listening and reading. So listening and reading usually are in the format objective, where the format is usually multiple choice, true or false, and yes, no question, something subjective. Yeah, the skill of language which usually been tested, which refers to subjective tests, are the skill of speaking and writing. So we need specific rubric to be scored. Okay, the next material is reference to norms and criteria. These boosters are referred to quote, a way to score, also to score. If we talk about reference to norms, it means we score our student based on to reference to score of others. And if we talk about criteria reference, it means that we score our student based on the client. So for example, in reference to norms or no reference with our student based on the average score of the class, but as criterion we score all students based on the direct guidance that we have already coded. For example, student is deserved to get a because the score is the interval between 86 to 100, for example. And then how about correctness versus appropriate. Actually, this is the criteria used to score the best stroke you know. If we want to score the best, usually this criteria is used to test the productive skill. To score to productive skill, for example, if we score his speaking skill in terms of correctness, it means that it reverts to linguistic likeness. Reverts to linguistic likeness. For example, speaking, it means that it reverts to the correctness of pronunciation, correctness of Indonesian, on the way we pronounce the words and sentence. The intonation of the way we have voice to sentence, and if we talk about contextual appropriateness, it means that the criteria of score is determined by the context where we use to skill. For example, in speaking, here I give you example for specific expression. Addressing someone, if we talk about addressing someone, there are some type of address. For example, Mr., Miss, and Miss. We have to score to address, not just because we use Miss, the title, one of the guide, or for dressing Mr., for example, which will fact the name like Mr. Budi Handoko. So usually in Indonesia in Indonesia culture, we just refer Pak Budi, and local Mr. Budi. No, actually there is culture message reflected in the title of addressing Mr. So we have to score with our student have already used the word Mr. appropriately by considering the culture aspect, the context where the language is used, so Mr. should be with the second name, because second name refers to the family name. And then the next, artificial versus authentic. If we talk about versus artificial, means central context. So it means on your we know that with this one, which means we test for language skill. If we talk about authentic phase, we talk about natural context. So the skill are integrated, and there is slight difference between just four skill. But if we talk about artificial, it means that the test is spreaded. The skill which our tests are spreaded. Yeah, but the benefit is we have the great care for each skill that we want to pass. Okay, that's all for my explanation and my presentation today. Thank you very much. And then the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.